Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Stadium Journey podcast, and thanks for joining us this evening. Check out our website, stadiumjourney.com. We are the world leader in sports travel information with reviews of over 2,500 stadiums from all around the world. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and stay tuned because we're always adding new as these pop-up social media companies pop up. So we'll sure to be there. Find us, it's pretty easy. We're consistent across all the social medias at Stadium Journey. Like, share, follow. To find other episodes of the Stadium Journey podcast, simply type in HIAC Talk Radio Network wherever you look for your favorite podcast, and we'll be there. If you prefer to watch your podcast, simply go to Stadium Journey's YouTube channel. All of the old episodes are there. If you want to be part of our live studio audience, you can join us every other Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, that is, at danlaw.tv. Before we get started, let me take a minute and introduce the starting lineup tonight. Dave Cotney's here. Follow him at ProFan9. Mark Viquez is online at Ballpark Hunter. The above-average comedian Dan Colachico's here. Follow him at DanLaw83. And I am Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. And today's podcast, one of my favorites that we do every year. We're going to put a bow on the year 2023 with our 6th annual Year in Review episode. Gentlemen, the rules are simple. We got 4 categories we'll talk about. We'll each take a turn. We're going to talk about the best game we went to. A good game on TV doesn't count. We have to have been there. Who's going to fact check us? We don't know where we went. But anyway, best game you went to, the best facility you visited all year.
Your mother.
The biggest. Yes.
No, I'm just no.
The biggest surprise venue, the one that you were expecting nothing out of and got a whole lot. And finally, the best city you visited this year. So anywhere between January and today can be considered, are eligible for the voting.
What about December 31st?
If you got one planned and you know that it's going to kick all the others' asses, then yeah.
No, I meant last year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so you already broke you already bent the rules.
What do I care? If December 31st was your best game or your best venue, it was a long year.
No, I was.
Dave, haven't you nominated New Year's bowl games 2 or 3 times? And
I may have done that.
Start out the top and just slide right down the hill.
Probably.
All right. So I don't remember the order of our categories. So let's just start off with the best game we went to this year. Any volunteers to go first? Dave has volunteered. Teacher's pet. Round noser, go ahead.
So I'm not doing January 1st this year.
January 2nd.
January 2nd. But it's hard. This one was hard to beat. January 2nd, Arlington, Texas. Home of.
Oh, you were serious.
The Cotton Bowl Classic. Final score: USC Trojans 45, Tulane Green Wave 40.
Jeez.
6.
All right.
It was my first trip to AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, and we were away on vacation down in the Dallas Metroplex area. This was pretty cool. I got to meet Mike Davis, who had some nice tickets that were better than the ticket that I had, so I got to come down and sit at the on the second level, because the first level is for the uber rich. I think you have to own small countries or significant amount of
South Fork
wells or something to be able to sit down there. But anyway, so USC Tulane, it's just like it sounds. Like USC was supposed to blow these guys out of the water. Tulane won the American Conference. USC had Heisman Trophy winner at that time, Caleb Williams. He didn't disappoint. Think about this. Throw for 462 yards, 5 touchdowns, and lose. It's pretty crazy. So as we were watching, and USC is ahead, they were ahead 2 touchdowns, a good chunk of the game. And I said to Mike, I said, I don't know, man. Tulane's just sort of hanging around. Like they're just hanging around. They just won't go away. So they're down 16 with 4 minutes left. March down the field, touchdown Tulane. Here's a turning point right here. Kickoff. Oh, the USC guy fields the kickoff at the 2-yard line, fumbles it, and it goes out of bounds. Like the biggest guffaw going.
That is the first time we have used the word guffaw on this podcast.
There you go.
That's not true.
No?
I've used guffaw talking about Brian Prupp.
Yeah, all right.
Tulane, 2 plays later, safeties the USC running back in the end zone. Like clear as day safety. So safety 2 points, plus they get the ball back. They march down the field, converting 2 4th downs, throw a pass into the end zone with 9 seconds left. That has to be reviewed, whether or not it's a catch. It never actually hits the ground. That ties the game. Kick the extra point. Tulane is up by 1. 9 seconds. They hold off USC. It was the bowl game last year. And then you add to it all of the fun bowl stuff that you don't believe exists, Paul.
I've been to a bowl game and I didn't see any of it.
You were at the wrong bowl game.
I surely was.
But anyway, it was my first time at a what they call the New Year's Six. And man, it did not disappoint. So my game of the year, Cotton Bowl, USC 45, Tulane 46. What do you got?
So they don't play the Cotton Bowl at the Cotton Bowl?
No. The only thing they play at the Cotton Bowl anymore is the Red River rivalry, which is the Texas-Oklahoma game. But the Cotton Bowl actually has an office. The official Cotton Bowl office is in AT&T Stadium, which we got to see when we did the tour. And it's kind of cool. They have a helmet from every team that's ever won the Cotton Bowl.
I must have seen that because I did that same tour.
It's pretty wild.
All right, very nice.
Must very memorable for you, Paul.
It was. I remember Jerry Jones' little private suite, which is like a room for him, just him.
I was going to say little private suite. I don't think there's anything little.
Wasn't there a little compartment that was just for him, like he could get away from everybody else?
I don't know. There's a couple things little about Jerry Jones. There's a couple things little about Jerry Jones.
Yeah. He is a little man, isn't he? I mean,
yeah, sure.
Height-wise.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Mark, your best game of 2023.
Best game is probably the Banana Ball. Took place in Indianapolis. That was all the hype that I've been hearing about for a couple years, and did not disappoint. In fact, the first game I attended was rained out. I had to wait 2 days to go back to see it. But yeah, it's one of those games where I was sitting down and paying attention to what was going to happen next. I wanted to see what was going to take place. Was something crazy, something wacky, something I've never seen before. So it did grab my attention. Victory Field, which is home to the Indianapolis Indians. The place was packed, 15,000 plus. And I have seen the stadium packed before, but this was beyond what I could have imagined. So yeah, it was something that, when you told people you went to a game, you felt like it was a badge of honor. It's like, yeah, well, checked out the Banana game. So that was a lot of fun. I believe the Bananas lost that game. I can't think of the score off the top of my head. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was wacky, zany. I saw a guy on stilts get a base hit. I saw some dancing. I saw the pregame ceremonies. As soon as you get in, yeah, it's. You wonder why other baseball teams can't do something like that, and then you realize it's probably not as easy as it seems. But my goodness, the people loved it. They ate it up, and I'd like to go to another one this year. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. And it was one of those little, I'm not gonna say bucket list because I really don't like using that term. Yeah, it was one of those things you wanted to see. Like, I have to see a banana game. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get to Savannah, so here it is down the street from me. So that was my favorite single game of the year.
Awesome. I mean, I had the privilege of working production for one of their games when they came up to Brockton. I helped the PA guy and ran the video board. Yeah. So yeah, the amount of work that goes into the presentation is incredible. You see them out not taking bag practice, you see them out rehearsing before the game. It was really something to see it. And like you said, it's just captured everybody's imagination, and it was so much fun, and to see the crowds respond. Yeah, it's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, but on steroids. I think they've taken it to another level.
Well, here's the thing: the Harlem Globetrotters are coming to Indianapolis in January, and I want to go there and see what that's like, because I was doing the math. It's been about 40 years since I've been to a Globetrotters game. I think I was with the Cub Scouts the last time at Madison Square Garden, and I was doing the math, and I said, 40 years. I just saw the Bananas. I want to see what the OG the OG team has to offer, because if it's anything from, I mean, I couldn't tell you what happened at that my original Globetrotters game, but I like
they won. They beat the Generals.
They beat the Generals. That's probably the only thing I could probably make a guess and be right about. But yeah, I just want to compare the two, and I want to see, do people still like the Globetrotters? I mean, they're still touring, or the Bananas going to be a team touring 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Or they're going to be playing solely in major league ballparks one day. There were so many kids there and fans just wearing Banana jerseys and hats that you thought that was a home game for the Bananas. Like, this was the Indianapolis team. And I don't even see that with the Indians, or I guess that's something I could compare it to. So,
well, that's because the Indians don't exist anymore.
No, the Indianapolis Indians. They still exist.
My bad. Sorry. It only applies to the big leagues. My bad.
Yeah,
the rules don't apply to the little guys.
Yeah, Indianapolis and Spokane, they still exist. But yeah, it's just, I talked to people. People were coming from 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours away. Somebody drove from Detroit. Somebody drove up from somewhere in Tennessee. It's like these are rock stars. They're coming to see the Stones, playing, or U2 playing at a ballpark. It's just, yeah, the hype, the excitement. Never really had that around a baseball team before like that.
Yeah, it was something. I wonder if the show, the theatric, carry over to those big league stadiums doing next year.
Well, I like to see them throw the baseball, the banana, from the top of the Green Monster into somebody's pants, because that was one thing they.
Oh, I didn't think they'd have a whole bunch of specific shtick just for the big places.
I know.
So that'll be interesting.
Can you imagine being an intern and like brainstorming some ideas? Hey, what should we do?
It's so much fun.
Raise your hand. So perfect. We'll do that.
All right, so it's my turn. Best game of the year. All right. For the first time, we've been doing this. This is the 6th time we've done this show. I think I'm picking a baseball game for the first time. Let me paint a picture for y'all. We're going out on our summer vacation. Due to circumstances in life, we weren't able to take a bunch of road trips we have in the past. We only got the one this year. So we were going up to Canada. This was during the Canadian wildfires. So we were driving out to Toronto first, making a stop in Buffalo. Sky was brown, reddish brown color. Look, and as we're getting closer and closer to Buffalo, the sky is getting worse and worse. And we're thinking, all right, there's no way we're going to hit a game today. We're just going to be lucky enough to get to our hotel and then go inside and breathe some fresh filtered air. But we got to Buffalo. We're going to catch the game between Buffalo and Worcester on June 30th. They're playing the game. Air quality is horrible, but they're going to play anyway. So Buffalo, 3 runs in the bottom of the first to take the lead. Worcester scores 5 in the 5th to take a 5-3 lead. The score holds to the bottom of the 9th. Let me see. I've actually got pulled up here. With 2 outs and 2 strikes, 2 men on. Oh, I lost it. Bat Nate, the batter for Buffalo, doubles. doubles over the center fielder's head, 2-run score by the game. Send it into extras. No big deal for Worcester. Worcester comes up, scores 3 in the top of the 10th on a home run. A shot. It was one of those no doubt home runs. So Worcester is up 8-5 going into the bottom of the 10th. Bases loaded for Buffalo in the bottom of the inning. Down 3. Luis de los Santos hits a walk-off grand slam to end the game. Buffalo takes it 10-8. The place, there was over 10,000 people here. I think it was the first night out for a lot of people in a while, and the place just went bananas, to coin a phrase. And so final score, Buffalo 10, Worcester 8. That was my game of the year. The level of excitement and the way to start off a big road trip with a game like that was just pretty cool, I got to say. All right, so that wraps up our games of the year. Our next category is venue of the year. Mark, I'll let you lead off this one if you'd like. Best venue you went to a game in 2023.
The best venue, you know, I went when I went to Seattle. I had for a family reunion from my mom's side, my wife's side. I wanted to see if there were some sporting events, and I saw that the WNBA Storm were playing. It's not that I went there just to see the Storm. I wanted to see the Climate Pledge Arena. I wanted to see what this place was all about. I had attended what did I do? I attended a Sonics game there many years ago, 2001, and I wanted to go back and check things out. And because it's like this green stadium, it's sustainable energy, and I wanted to see it firsthand for myself. So I was able to attend the game, and I walk into the stadium on the upper deck, and there's nothing going on. I thought it was dead, and I'm like, oh, yeesh, the WNBA really does suck. But I walked downstairs, and that's where all the excitement was. And I'm like, what the heck kind of arena is this? It was just so funky. It was like the top level outer concourse was dead, but down below is where all the excitement was.
So you go in at the top and then go down into the arena.
Yes, that's how you enter this building. What they did is they kept the original roof and I guess shape of the building, and yeah, it's an odd looking facility when you walk in, but like I said, once you get downstairs, it's much nicer. And I was just intrigued by this building. I found it fascinating. It had this giant living wall, and when I say living wall, it had grass growing from the walls that will continue growing. It's growing upside down, and it's just there, you know, and it's all this information about it and why they're doing it, and it's conserving grass that normally would be destroyed elsewhere. It's just such a weird thing to see in an arena, but it's Seattle. I kind of figured that would be the case. Then the food, my goodness, all this food that from around local Seattle businesses, from pizza to burgers to veggie burgers to beer, sweet potato fries. I mean, burgers. It was expensive. I mean, we talked about that a few weeks ago, but yeah, it was great. I really was intrigued by it. Also, going into the seating bowl, instead of your standard scoreboard hanging over the court, you had them in the corner, like kind of like a pyramid shape on each side. I thought that was unique. And you know, it was a nice crowd too. They had about 8,000 people for a WNBA game. I mean, that's not a terrible crowd. So yeah, it was one of those arena. I wanted to see the arena more than the team. Like, okay, cool, the Storm are playing there, but I wanted to see the arena. Plus, I found out if they give tours there for like $40, so I think I paid $8 for my ticket. So $40. Where are they taking you on that? Are they letting you, like, you know, roll around in the grass and dig for diamonds or something? My goodness. So yeah, go see a WNBA game and take a tour of the Climate Pledge Arena. Now, it would have been great if I was there for a hockey game. That would have been insane. But I'll take my chance. And plus, the outside is the Seattle Center. which you could take a monorail to, probably one of the only buildings you can take a monorail to in pro sports. And there was an outdoor concert taking place, and it was a group from Hamilton, Ontario playing. And they had great music. I looked them up online to see what, to hear from other sounds from them. They had free samples, they had free drinks, seltzer water and yerba tea. It was just a very Seattle kind of night. So that added into the building's ambiance, along with a few other things. So all I needed was some marijuana to smoke. I probably would have fit right in with the rest of the crew. It's that type of like night. So yeah, Climate Pledge was definitely one of the more impressive buildings. Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you, I was at the Army Navy game on Saturday, and somebody was funking up a doobie. So
it's so common. I live in a state surrounded by other states that legalize it, so it's coming. So yeah, Climate Pledge Arena. If you guys can go out there, you can just tour this building on your own before the game or during the game if you want, and you'll just really see a kind of a unique venue, unlike anything that's out there right now in the world of sports, at least in North America. And I'm sure during a cracking game, when the place is packed, it's even a better experience. But yeah, a lot of great things there, but it is pricey. That's the unfortunate thing.
Who was the band?
The band was a group called Ashter Shea. It's a female group.
I don't know that.
Yeah, they had this, like, it was one of those sounds I heard. I have a video coming out, and you can hear them in the background.
It's good that a band has a sound.
Yeah, no, they had like this really cool sound. It's like, because here's the thing, like I hear live music and it's like, yeah, big deal. But this one was like, oh wow, what's that? Oh, like I've never just heard a band that
I've never heard music before.
Never heard my music that struck my fancy. Who are you? Where do you come from? Hamilton, Ontario. Wow.
I didn't know they had music in Ontario.
I didn't know they played them down there. Yeah. Where is this place you speak of? So, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and it was my first night in Seattle, and just got in. It was just a fun. It was that whole day was really nice. So Climate Pledge Arena really hit the nail on the head.
All right, Dave. How about you? Your favorite venue of the year?
Yeah, that's a bucket list one for me. Climate Pledge.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of my 6 NHL that I have to go to still. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna cheat. So my venue of the year was a December 29th and a December 31st. But it was between it was after our year review podcast last year. So so I've got like a double dip because I went twice, and it was to American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. We took in a Mavericks game. We took in a Dallas Stars game. There's something to be said about New Year's Eve hockey. It always seems to be like just on point. Straight up, the Mavericks are now my favorite NBA experience. Like the vibe in there was just really solid. They have probably one of the best bronze statues that I've seen in the front, and that's of Dirk Nowitzki doing that kind of fadeaway Dirk jumper.
Did he ever win?
Just
kidding.
Perfect. What do you?
No, I'm kidding. It was sarcasm.
The big plaza Victory. They call it Victory Square. Easy, like we walked. We parked a little bit away, walked to it. Great sight lines. Again, great vibe. It's probably one of the arenas that just felt the biggest, though. It just felt massive. And my first time in Texas, like, hey, everything's bigger in Texas, right? The Stars, though, were the game that probably I was most surprised about. Texas, I was expecting basketball. I was expecting, your typical stock, defense hip hop kind of music that you get when the play's going on in basketball. It was fine. I was really expecting a lot more country music than I heard. The Dallas Stars, though, the dude who runs the music there, man, he's into metal. It was probably like the most kind of heavy metal sporting event I'd been to. And I guess being up here where people argue about such frivolous type things at Leaf games, such as the goal song, because that's been a big issue up here, where Leaf fans don't seem to like Hall & Oates anymore. They want to go with some...
Hall & Oates don't even like each other anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, really.
That was such a perfect goal song. Anyway, they're now some generic electronica type song. Dallas has an original goal song, which are always seem to be better. Ones that like made specifically for the team. You know, I'm thinking of the New York Rangers have one. Montreal has one. And Dallas has one, and it is heavy, and everybody is into it. And man, it was just we just had a blast at this place. The Stars are probably number 6 on my list now. They got some pretty heavy competition above them, but yeah, the Mavericks number 1 on my NBA list now. So we definitely had great experience at American Airlines Center. What do you got?
All right, so I my favorite this year may surprise you. I did go twice, so once in August and once Saturday. It's an arena, a stadium that I'm very intimately. I know the ins and outs. I worked there for 7 years, but it is now a different place than when it was when I used to work there. I'm talking about Gillette Stadium. And I'm choosing this as much for the experience, overall, the improvements that they made to the facility, and the experience of the Army-Navy game. So let's talk about first the changes. If you haven't been to Gillette Stadium in a while, they basically ripped out the whole north end zone where the lighthouse and the bridge and everything was, and closed it, which is one negative to the new things, is it really has enclosed the stadium, where it used to be very open and the wind could whip right through that stadium, and it was great in December and January because it was wind chill city. They installed the largest scoreboard in North America. So it spans entirely the entire way from one grandstand on one side to the other grandstand on the other side. Closed it all in, built a brand new lighthouse that actually looks like a lighthouse now. And you can rent out the top of the lighthouse and the surrounding what's that called? Widow's Walk, and you can have a party up there. Put in all kinds of new office space, meeting space, social gathering areas, whatever you want to call them. And so the stadium looks like a different place now. But the experience of an Army-Navy game is always something on my short list of things I wanted to see. And Richard Smith always covers the Army-Navy game for us for Stadium Journey every year. It's usually in his backyard, but when it was coming up to Foxborough this year, I said, Richard, it's mine this year. And I'm so glad that I took it, because the whole vibe of the Army-Navy game is incredible. It's the whole week. You've got the veterans descending on town. Army and Navy bring some of their tanks and stuff and parade them around the cities. And when you get there, they had a whole fan fest, and you got the cadets and the midshipmen walking around. But if you do nothing else, if you ever have the privilege to go to an Army-Navy game, get there early, go inside the stadium. They open the stadium up. They opened it up 4 hours before the game. Why so early? Because the parade of the midshipmen and the parade of the cadets. Watching them march into the stadium in formation, take their place on the field, and do their thing. It was just incredible, and not a dry eye in the house. You can't help but be impressed and amazed by that whole site. And then the game is usually a secondary concern, because the game is they're usually not the best college teams out there. But this year's game was the game this year was pretty competitive, and Army ended up winning it 17-11, and they stopped Navy last play of the game 2 inches from the goal line to get the victory. So It was a 55 minutes of an absolute snooze fest of a game, and then 5 minutes of just incredibleness.
Ooh.
But the cadet section, all the Army kids are sitting in their sections, and the Navy kids are sitting in theirs, and you're hearing "Go Army, Go Navy" back and forth. You got the flyovers. They had some jets flying over for Navy, and then the Army helicopters came over from the other side. Just incredible. Both teams had paratroopers dive into the stadium. Just the whole pageantry and pomp and circumstance was just amazing. And to see it in the newly redesigned stadium was just an incredible sight for me. So that was my stadium of the year, Gillette Stadium. So let's move on to our next category, which was biggest surprise of the year. Dave, you want to go first on this one?
Sure.
So this may be, listeners, this may be a well-known stadium. By surprise, we just mean it's something that you weren't expected, maybe great improvements, or maybe it's a little out of the way place you wouldn't expect and you just had the best time.
Well, mine is a little bit broader than that. So my surprise of the year is basically moving beyond my own snobbery.
Whoa.
So this year I decided to sort of broaden my hockey experiences, and I've taken in some. Well, I mean, as everybody knows, I'm well versed in major junior hockey, OHL, QMJHL, a little bit of WHL, and I've done the full OHL. I'm 2/3 done the QMJHL. It's way high on my bucket list.
You got to get to what is it? What's the one that's way out there? Baie-Comeau?
Baie-Comeau, yeah, that's a thorn in my side. Prince George too. I'm trying to convince Lloyd Brown to go to Prince George because he goes everywhere. But anyway, I'm a little bit more localized at the moment. A little less travel. I'm also at the point where I've almost chewed through just about everything that's drivable. So what I did this year is broaden my horizons a little bit. I actually started in the summer, not with hockey, but with lacrosse, where I started taking in some OJLL lacrosse, which is Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. So I was looking for something a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit not baseball. Because sometimes I feel the summer just, okay, I've had enough baseball. It's just, I'm getting beaten down with baseball. I know Mark doesn't feel this way, but
Mark is the ballpark hunter.
And then
that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. So I had.
What'd you call me?
Wow. I think it had something to do with zip cream and not being smart.
Wow.
Called you an OxyClean.
Okay. I remember that.
But I did take in some lacrosse in some spots that I hadn't been to before. Oakville, where the Toronto Rock Training Center is. Great facility there. Mimico, which is a little part of Toronto and has this little lacrosse kind of community. Orangeville, which is like this major league lacrosse hotbed. And then once the summer ended, and that's like junior lacrosse is actually played in the summer for the most part. It was expanding my hockey horizons a little bit. So I've taken in some junior A, or some people might call tier 2 junior A, some junior B, some junior C even. And like these are teams that are well off the beaten path. A lot of small towns. It started with going to Stayner, which is this small town just outside of Wasaga Beach. Actually, it's way smaller than Wasaga Beach, and they have a junior C team. And I just happened to drive by the sign all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta just go there once. But it's like it's the place to be on a Thursday night when the Stayner Siskins play, and like the whole town's there. It's all packed, and they got a real buzz out of the place. Collingwood. I hit Collingwood. I'm just an old school hockey barn. Junior A, they get over 1,000, which is probably like the top attendance in that league, in the OJHL, Ontario Junior Hockey League. Last night I went to Elmira. Took in the Elmira Sugar Kings, which has been around forever. Boasts names like Daryl Sittler and Dan Snyder. Funny, Gregory asked me today about why there would be an arena in Elmira named after the disgraced owner of the Washington football Redskins or whatever.
Yeah, that's not a common name at all.
I was like, no. It's the guy who died in the car accident with Danny Heatley in Atlanta.
You mean the guy that Danny Heatley killed in the car accident? Well, I'm sorry, it's semantics.
Whatever. Anyway,
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't help be a liberal.
Cheap tickets. Major junior hockey's getting expensive. We're heading into the $30 range for tickets for major junior in some cases. High 20s, heading towards 30s. Like these guys are all like $10, $12. Last night I paid $12 to go to Elmira, and the experience has been a lot of fun. You're not going to walk in knowing a whole lot of names. Maybe you see some names that you are familiar with that played before or whatever. On some of their like little treasure spots, their trophy cases and whatnot. But yeah, I'm surprised myself. I'm gonna lose my snob status. I don't know, man.
You'll always be a snob to me, Dave.
I was gonna say, don't sell yourself short. You'll always be a snob to me.
Hey, Dave, I've been mirroring that for the last few years. I've kind of you get tired, like you said, you get tired of retreading the same old arenas, same old rinks. So I've been branching out to do a little more Division II and Division III around here, and it's really been, like you said, a lot of fun, and some of the little hidden gems that are just out of the way. Mark knows this well, doing town ball and all that stuff. Sometimes you have just the best experience in the most unexpected place.
I don't think I'm quite ready to just dive into the ECHL, however.
Yeah, you'd have to drive for that.
Toledo is a great place to in Fort Wayne.
What's the closest team to you anyway?
London.
To me?
Brampton, London.
Oh, yeah.
Brampton's gone.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Oh, are they?
But they were probably
Kalamazoo, Fort Wayne.
After Toledo. That, probably Toledo.
I've been to
Kalamazoo. Toledo's a great place.
Toledo's a wonderful rink.
Yeah. And Toledo,
I still kick myself for not getting a Gold Diggers jersey when I went there because
those are sweet.
So wait, is that further than? Okay, I'm going to ask a dumb question. How far is oh God, don't butcher the name. Trois Rivières. Trois Rivières, yeah.
Yeah, that's
probably closer to me.
That's probably a good 9.
I don't know. I'm an
9 hours for me.
No idea.
Quebec City would be about 10 hours.
Well, never mind.
Rivière is 6 for me.
Well, never mind.
Or is it 5? I was just there this summer. Anyway.
Actually, Dan, I got a bit of an aside here. That reminds me, your mispronunciation of the city that you were trying not to. I just finished the audio.
I knew I was going to, by the way.
That's true. You
don't parlez-vous français?
I had just finished the audiobook of by Corey Hirsch. And I said to my friend, it's the most non-hockey book I've ever read, which is sort of beside the point. The main thing is, outside of the names Hirsch and Smith, the dude reading mispronounced every single name.
Okay, that's a little different. That's me. I'm not reading a audio book, and if I did, the guy recording would go, "Hey, we're gonna take that again. You said it wrong."
Was nobody listening to this?
Apparently
He
not.
did not have an editor.
Holy.
Oh boy.
Well, that's unfortunate.
That's why, as a PA announcer, I check with the coaches before every game just to make sure I'm saying everybody's name right.
That was a reader instead of a listener. Should have read that one, but
yeah.
Oh well.
Oh boy.
All right, Mark, your biggest surprise of 2023.
I think keeping up with hockey, in junior hockey, I may have to add my couple recent visits. Dave was telling me how wonderful Windsor was compared to Sarnia, and Windsor is a great arena. But I really like Sarnia. I thought that was a nice little pleasant surprise. Uh, it was made for hockey. It had all the trimmings. It had all the fixins. It wasn't fancy, but it had everything you need to watch a hockey game. It had like kind of a platinum club section. It had some private areas. It had one of the loudest goal horns I've heard in a while. Then again, I don't get out to hockey games that often compared to baseball games. But yeah, I had a great time there. I had a wonderful time. It was a day game. Had a nice crowd. They had good food. The prices were right. Free parking. It was a fabulous time, and I was kind of expecting like a little dump of a building, which maybe it is to some degree compared to where London and the Budweiser Gardens and where the WFCU Center is. So yeah, it's not on scale with those two arenas. But yeah, that was probably one of my biggest surprises. I was trying to make a list, and I was having a hard time trying to figure out what that surprise would be, and I had a few other spots that were baseball, but I figured maybe we'll just go the hockey route. Yeah, I really had a fun time. And one thing I did like after the game, I went over to Canadian Tire and Walmart, and I saw people shopping with their Sting jerseys on. It's like, oh yeah, go to the game, do some shopping, bring home some bag of milk, and make sure the kids have some breakfast for tomorrow. So that I love that kind of community aspect of it. I love the neighborhood there. It was just a cool little spot for hockey, and I enjoyed it immensely. And then I had to rush back to see the Grey Cup somewhere at a local bar. So that was a fun little day.
All right, awesome. That'll tie into my big surprise because mine was also a fun little day. Spent July 1st in the city of Toronto, and we had a jam-packed day. Started off at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Oh, by the way, last week when we were going to do this show, I announced the topic out there to the internet and asked for listener input. I got one input.
Yeah.
Our buddy Lloyd Rothwell, he could type all the way from Australia. What's wrong with the rest of you guys? But he mentioned how great it was to visit the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. And he said he had an awesome tour guide to help him along and answer all the stupid questions. But anyway, on July 1st, also happens to be my birthday. Start out the Hockey Hall of Fame, went to the Blue Jays game, and then to Toronto FC. So my biggest surprise was that how crazy Canadians are about Canada Day. And I'm talking specifically about the Blue Jays game. Last time I had gone to the Blue Jays, it was, really just kind of a meh, plain old experience. I knew I was in for something special this time when we were approaching the Rogers Center and they had bands outside playing. And then when you walked in the door and you got a straw hat with the Canadian flag on it. And people were giving away free samples of drinks, free alcohol at a Major League Baseball game. It was bizarro world, and people were just having a blast all over the place. There were free samples of food. There were bands. There was a big chocolate mousse that people were taking, not chocolate mousse that you eat, a mousse made out of chocolate that people were posing with.
Slightly different.
You ever see the movie Top? Oh, one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the characters' name is Chocolate Mousse.
Yeah, Top Secret. You're right.
Yeah, love that movie. Deja vu. Haven't we met somewhere before? Anyway, the whole day was just like a big party. And for Canada Day, they do a naturalization ceremony on the field with a bunch of people becoming Canadian citizens. They had what do you call it when you go down the rappellers, going down from the
falling.
Roof? Falling? No, they did not. They fell with style. They rappelled down from the top of the rafters of the Rogers Center down onto the field. So
it's not the fall that gets you. It's just sudden stop at the end.
It's the landing.
Yeah.
Stick the landing means something entirely different there.
Yeah. Well, just ask my dad.
But yeah, the whole day was a party, and then the Red Sox went and spoiled the whole thing by winning the game 8-7. The game was even really
good. Bastards.
So, yeah, they had like an 8-2 lead going into the ninth and almost blew it. So, yeah, in the United States we're always chanting USA, USA. Who knew Canadians were patriotic too? I certainly didn't. So my biggest surprise was experiencing Canada Day in Canada, and I got this snazzy sombrero.
In Toronto.
Dave now has one too.
Yes, that was a good trade.
Yeah, you gave me a red one that's hanging around here somewhere. Okay, so that was my biggest surprise, the Rogers Center. Go figure. But yeah, I hadn't been there in 15 years, and what a difference in the place since then. And they're doing a whole lot more now, so I'll have to go back again. So that brings us to our final category, which is the best city we visited this year. Mark, I'll let you lead off this.
Sarnia, Ontario. No, I'm just kidding. I want to hear Dave's reaction there. You know what? It was I was
silence.
Yeah, he was like, okay.
That would be like choosing Frederick, Maryland.
It was stunned silence.
Even Frederick, Maryland doesn't choose Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah, this year was no contest. It was Seattle, Washington. That was my favorite place from the Mariners game to the Climate Pledge Arena, the vibe at the Seattle Center, taking the light rail system into town, checking out the Mount Rainier in the distance, going to the Mariners game and seeing the views of the Sound at sunset. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was lovely. And going to the Pikes Market, taking the ferry to Bainbridge Island. Seattle was everything and more. I had been there a few times. It's been 13 years, but there was a lot familiar, but yet a lot that was new to me. So I had a blast. I wish I could have spent a little more time there, but I felt that I packed in everything you possibly could do in 4 days. Visitation sports wise. I think the only thing I missed out going to was a Tacoma Rainier game that unfortunately I couldn't make unless I rented a car, which would have been like $100 from the airport. I think it was going to be worth it to do that. But yeah, Seattle, Washington, my favorite place. Easy to get around, beautiful scenery. I would definitely suggest if you fly in and you just want to stay in the city, do not rent a car, do not pay $5 a gallon for gas or $4. It was like $4.50. Wasn't quite $5. It was extremely expensive. Maybe it's gone down now, but yeah, just light rail system, Seattle dog with cream cheese and peppers and onions on it. Great chicken teriyaki. I mean, it has everything you possibly could want in a major city. And for a sports fan, there's a lot to do there during the summer. So Seattle, Washington was number 1 city on my list for 2023.
Nice. Good choice. Dave, how about you? Your favorite city?
Well, this was a tough one. I could have picked Dallas and or all of the little cities around Dallas, like Arlington and Frisco and whatnot. But I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit. I know, Paul, we've discussed this one. My favorite city this year I actually went to twice. It was Oklahoma City.
Good choice.
Okay.
Good choice.
So drove down on the way to Dallas and my son and I stopped and went to the Thunder game. But really we just breezed in and breezed out, drive, stop, basketball, sleep, drive. And we were in Dallas the next day. My daughter, who collects states, got upset that she didn't get to go to Oklahoma City. So when given
Good job, Dad.
When given the opportunity to decide where to go in the summer, she decided that she wanted to go to Oklahoma. So we went and had a couple days, did a little bit more touristy options. We saw the Thunder, or not the Thunder, sorry. We saw the Dodgers twice, the Oklahoma City Dodgers. The Bricktown is an amazing area. The Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark is one of the better minor league facilities. I love the street names around there. You got like Mickey Mantle Way and Johnny Bench Drive and Joe Carter Avenue, and then even the bands get into it. So there's like a Kings of Leon Drive, and then there's like a Flaming Lips Alley or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
gotta love that band.
The National Memorial and Museum that they've put together there for remembering the Oklahoma City bombing was amazing. It was quite insightful, very educational. I had, not having lived it, I kind of knew a little bit about it, and they went right through in stages. So the event itself, and then all the reactions, and the first responders, and then they took it to the next level, and they actually talked about the arrest and the trial and all of this, all of the kind of follow-up stuff, which I found interesting, and it brought back a lot of memories, having, being aware at that time, but not necessarily following it. The canal system downtown is cool. Take a little tour on the water taxi. They have an amazing bronze statue, probably the biggest one I've ever seen, of the land race, called the Oklahoma Land Race, which is basically how Oklahoma City was founded. Basically, they started at one end, said go, everybody went across the state as fast as they could, and wherever they stopped, they could get land in it. And the monument of that is quite awesome. But downtown, like, there are bars and restaurants, like, you name it, it's there. We ate at one night, we ate at Toby Keith's. Toby Keith's, I love this bar. We could have eaten at Mickey Mantle Steakhouse, but that was pretty pricey. The one day also, we went out to the stockyards, and that's where we hit the man versus food favorite, the Cattleman's Cafe. Man, whew.
Best steak I've ever had was at the Cattleman's.
Yeah, it was. I'm not prepared to say it was the best, but it was way up there. And it's not a place that people would think of. It's not a big tourist destination, but we had a great time there, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who want. You got a few extra days and you're not too far. Pop in, catch a game, get some good food, see a couple things. It's a good time. Oklahoma City.
Nice. I love that our places are, big city, but not the usual places. I was looking back at some of the ones we've chosen in past years, and we've got some really out of the way places. I mean, we've had Johnson City, Tennessee is one of our favorite places, Traverse City, Michigan, Barrie, Ontario. We've had some different kind of places. So I like you, Dave, I had a tough decision. I had such a great day in Toronto. I was very tempted to pick Toronto as my favorite city for the year. But as it went down, we just didn't spend enough time in the city to do much more besides games. And there was a place where we went on the same baseball trip that we spent a few days in, and it was just an incredible experience. I'm talking about Quebec City. I had been to Quebec City once when I was 13, so I didn't really remember a whole lot about it. But we spent the whole weekend in Quebec City, and got to hit all the touristy sites. We hit the waterfalls, Mount Morency Falls. I think I said that right. Went all through the Citadel, the old walled city, the downtown, which is walkable with all these old fantastic bars and restaurants. Had one of the best meals I have ever had in my life, and probably the best meal I've ever had outside of New Orleans. Just with all the traditional Quebec staples. We had the maple pie, and the meat pie, and all this Quebec French fusion food that was just amazing.
Probably the most European city in North America.
That's what they say. Is the closest you can get to a European atmosphere in North America. Hit up a few good craft breweries, caught a couple of Quebec Capitals games, the Frontier League. Unbelievably great crowds there for the Capitals. Was not expecting that. And in fact, one of the games we went to was sold out.
Yeah, you're right. You told us that. You couldn't get tickets, right?
Right. Oh, we ended up that. So just such a great place. And they've got that what's it called? It's a boardwalk, but it's way up above on the side of the cliff where the Chateau Frontenac is, right there, right in the center of the old city. It was just an incredible weekend. Great food, great beer, some good baseball. Went out and checked out the old Colisée because it's still standing, and the Centre Videotron, which is right next to it, which really doesn't look as impressive as I thought it would look. Didn't get to go inside, but
good currency rate.
Yeah, the exchange rate was really nice too. So yeah, it was like 33 cents on the dollar, something like that. So all added up to my favorite city of the year for 2023, Quebec City.
All right.
So have we gotten any input from the peanut gallery, Dan? For any of their choices?
Nope. Or no peanut gallery.
These peanuts? What the heck?
So
that will.
Oh, sorry, wrong peanuts.
That was the right peanuts.
That's one thing I miss from the East Coast. I don't get to go up to Quebec anymore, Montreal or parts of New England. It's like there's things I want to see up there myself. I like to go back to Quebec City, but I'm still the same distance from Toronto, so at least I got that going.
Well, see, Mark, where you live more in the center of the country, you can go in 4 directions and be okay.
Yeah,
I'm up in a corner, so I can only go really 2 directions.
Yeah, it's just that when you grow up, you see certain things, and you always think you're going to have easy access, But you're right, I can get out to St. Louis rather quickly, down to Nashville. Kansas City's not too far of a drive. Plans for 2024.
Oh, that's a good question. Anybody got anything planned for 2024? Big picture. We have announced the Stadium Journey convention site for next summer, which will be the Mid-Atlantic states. So we've got deals coming up with the York Revolution are going to host us one night, and the Baltimore Orioles. We're going to do a group thing there, and then but the centerpiece of the night is going of the weekend is going to be Bethesda. Bethesda Big Train. They actually play their game. It's a Sunday morning game. The game is going to be at 10 o'clock. They're going to host us for a breakfast or brunch and a presentation about the Cal Ripken League. So that could be interesting. So that'll be the centerpiece of this summer. So I think my trip for 2024 will be. We haven't decided yet. 3 ways we can go with this. We can go down, hit the Baltimore DC area, and then loop up, go like down to Norfolk, and then up the Delmarva Peninsula and go home that way up the coast. Or we can loop the other way and go up the Blue Ridge Mountains, maybe catch Western Virginia. Or we can be crazy and knock one of our states. Dave, you talked about your daughter collecting states. Pam and I do that too. And from Washington, just jetting out and hitting Arkansas while we're within hailing distance of it. Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas City, yeah. Yeah, in order for me to get to my last state, I would have to fly. So that's Alaska. Yeah, it's.
If we did hit Arkansas, it would be 42 for us, so we'd be in good shape.
Woo pig suey.
Yeah, I tell you, I like this time of year because you just think about what you could do. I would like to go back out to Jersey to visit. That would definitely coincide with the meetup. I just wish the Washington Nationals were playing because I have not been to that ballpark yet.
They are. They are, if depending on your timing.
Oh, really?
They're playing the week following.
Okay.
So the Bethesda game is on a Sunday. Monday everybody is off, I believe, and then Washington's home Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, if somebody wants to get a bed Airbnb, I think from Stadium Journey called me. I think that's what we did last time. And when was my last time? Iowa. That was my last trip. Des Moines.
Was that Des Moines or Burlington?
Oh no, it was Burlington. You're right.
That was the famous. How'd Mark get on the field?
Oh, really? That was... Well, it was funny. Johnson City. I was there the 2 nights before, and they gave me a pass that allowed me to go to any of the Appalachian League stadiums. So I can just show this pass. I don't know if it's still valid. So I just
lifetime.
I kept walking in with it. So we'll see if it works. I don't know. Like they have the new team coming in where is it? In West Virginia. I said Huntington. So
that's right. They lost the team but picked up somebody else.
They picked up their name the team contest. Yeah, that's the thing. It's it's like I want to hop in a car and I want to go places, but I want to make sure I can get as many stadiums in. Oh, look at this little tiny doggy.
Oh, hi.
Oh, Albert. All right. So that's our look at our favorite places in 2023. You want to share your favorite ones? Hit us up on our social media channels. Oh, Miami must have scored. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Stadium Journey. So again, thanks for everybody for listening. Dan, where can our listeners follow you online?
Wait, is this it for the year?
Yes. Is it? Because 2 weeks? Well, actually, 2 weeks from now is Christmas Day. So we're probably not going to do a show there unless everybody wants to unwrap their presents on Christmas Day.
No, I think we're fine with that.
Right. So we'll be good till 2024.
I'm thinking the 8th is going to be our next one.
January 8th.
Yeah,
wow.
That's what I got.
That's funny because I'll probably stream that day if you don't eat my mole off my face, Albert. Dan Law 83, all social media channels.
All right, so Mark, we got 4 weeks till we all get together again. You got any trips planned over the holiday season, and where can our listeners follow you?
Yeah, I'm looking at going down to Cincinnati. I got a friend who may be able to squeeze a deal coming up. So check out the Bengals. Hopefully that works out. Yeah, I'll probably be in Chicago for the Christmas holiday. So if I can knock off some of those basketball arenas up there, maybe make a trip up to Milwaukee. I got high school basketball. I was just looking at some of the venues to check out. There's one basketball arena in it's about an hour and a half south of here. All the games are sold out. They don't sell tickets, so I'm gonna have to call the athletic director, let him know I'm coming in, and if he can get me a press pass. I like that's how intense it is in this one little town. So I'm looking at that. So yeah, it's basketball and hockey season for me right now. So check all that excitement at Ballpark Hunter. That's on Twitter, YouTube, Threads. I'm also hitting Instagram a lot more because that's where all the young hip kids are on, not our old fogies on Twitter. So try to do a little more presence on the Instagram.
And nothing says young and hip better than looking at our faces.
Yes. Yeah, try to be hip. Think like the crowd.
This one. Look at this face.
Yeah.
It's hip to be square.
Yeah.
Look at his little tiny.
He's so cute. New co-host. Dave, you got any trips planned, and where can our listeners follow your adventures?
Yeah, big one. We do have Raptors coming up just before Christmas. Thanks to one of my wife's clients who gifted us some seats. That was pretty nice. But then just after Christmas, so for the rest of the Christmas break, we're going down to Houston. We have a problem. So Houston Cougars basketball, both men's and women's. Houston Texans football, Houston Rockets, and then on the way back, I'm going to take in some Louisiana Monroe basketball, St. Louis Blues, and Ohio State hockey. So you can follow all those adventures on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube at ProFan9.
All right, let's see. For myself, what do I got going on before we get back again? I'm not actually on my semester break, so I've got a few weeks off from my PA duties, but the holidays, family takes up a lot of stuff. What do I got planned? This weekend, I will be doing something non-sporting, but something that I've always wanted to do. I'm going to catch the Boston Pops, so I'm excited about that. And then let's see,
Nice.
and New Year's weekend, we're going to head up to one of my favorite places, spend a couple days up in Portland, Maine. While we're there, we're going to catch the Maine Mariners and the Maine Celtics. I hate that they changed the name. The Maine Red Claws was such a cool team name. They changed them to the Celtics. Kept the lobster as the logo, but now they're the Celtics. You can follow my journeys on Twitter and Instagram and Threads at PuckmanRI. And remember, kids, you can find all of our 2,500 plus stadium reviews, news items, and other feature stories on the website, stadiumjourney.com. Connect with us on our social media channels, like I said before, at Stadium Journey. For your listening pleasure, type in HIAC Talk Radio Network wherever you look for your favorite podcast. You'll find us. And if you would rather watch your podcast rather than just listen, check out Stadium Journey's YouTube page. And live streams happen every other Monday night. Or in this case, we're going to skip Christmas, but every other Monday night, 7 Eastern at danlaw.tv. Like I just said, we won't be back in 2 weeks because that's Christmas night. So instead, we will see you all on January 8th. It's 2024 already. Unbelievable. Everybody,
this year, I'm good with this year's start. I'm good with.
They say it's a fresh start, but it's always just more of the same.
That's what I said the other day. I'm just like I'm good though. I'm ready to go. I've had enough.
Well, let's hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season. And as always, thanks everyone for listening. For Dan, Mark, and Dave, this is Paul. Wish everyone safe journeys and close games. And I don't know your dog's name, Dan.
Albert.
Albert. So everybody, happy holidays and a happy new year to everybody. We'll see you next year. For season 7.
We're old.